Hello people, this is our Cobra.
Engineer.
And for those who actually care, the third rewrite of Winx Club is actually done. That is of the third season, not a third time attempting this. I don't know how much overlap there's between my YouTube channel and my fanfiction account, but for those of you who care, that's done now. And as usual, we're having a little Q&A at the end of this. So yeah, the first question, which we got from a lot of people, is yes, we will be doing the movies.
I'm sorry, people, there is really just too much plot for us to skip it.
Even though there wasn't, we'd find something.
Mm.
I mean, we did the Pixie episode in season 3.
Yep.
I mean, sure, it was the shortest chapter in ever, but we still did it.
Yeah, but what I mean is there's actually so much plot in the movie that if you skip it, the canon in the series will make no sense.
Less sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question is... yeah. Next question was, well, if, you know... Oh, and I should probably say, for those of you who haven't read it and do want to read it, the next couple of questions will get spoilery. So, yes. If you're actually interested in reading this and be surprised, go do that. They should have left now. Anyway, the next question was, is Daphne coming back? Or is she gone for good? And, yeah, she's gone for good. She's dead. Again.
Yes.
Thoroughly.
This doesn't mean we might never mention her again, but she's not coming back.
Yeah. I cannot imagine the series of events in the series that would necessitate us rewriting the story in a way that would allow her to come back. So no, she is deceased. An ex-nymph. Joined the choir mortal or whatever it is dead people do in the Winx Club universe.
Yeah.
When they're thoroughly dead. And the next question kind of links to that. Will we see Valtor again? Yes.
Yes. We saw no reason to bring him in just to put him on a train.
But how he will show up, when he will show up and all that, that's the thing now, isn't it? We're not going to spoil that. So yeah. And yes, we are, of course, doing season 4 after the movie. That is also planned.
Yes.
So yeah.
And we do have plans for the different characters that will show up there to answer that question.
That wasn't a question, that was a hope.
Well, then we're answering that hope.
Well, yes, but... Anyway, another thing that's been brought up, not in the question for the end of season 3, but for the thing in general through PM. And again, it's not so much a question, it's just more of a statement, but I feel like it's an important thing to bring up. Because somebody brought up that the lack of transformation and Winx, not Winx, but Winx, kind of made, you know, this thing of Winx Club fanfic a name only. Which I feel is kind of... If that was really the case, that's kind of sad for the show. If all it really has, and you can really say this is Winx Club by that's with transformations. But I feel like I would want to explain why we took that out. First of all, the whole they can all fly thing has... more often than not, it introduces certain complications. For example, there are, at least in both Season 1 and Season 3 cases, where the girls fall down a ravine, a crevice, or something similar, despite the fact they can fly.
There's also such a scene in Season 2. It takes place on Omega. Even transformed.
Omega was introduced in Season 3.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Now I'm mixing things up, too, but yeah.
Yep. What would you do without me?
I don't know, but I think there is a scene too with, yeah, there's a scene in the beginning of Season 2 where Layla falls. Why didn't she transform when Darkrai came after her?
So, yeah, so more often than not, the fact they can fly just introduces all kinds of plot holes. But more than that, the transformations, well, usually in series like these, transformations are like a way to access their powers, which is not the case here, as we know the girls can use their powers outside.
Or it gives them a secret identity, which can also be important.
But again, the girls do not have a secret identity. And again, it's actually one of the things I like about the show, that it doesn't attempt to set up a masquerade.
No.
So I actually kind of like that, but in the end, that does make the transformation kind of superfluous. They do occasionally achieve extra powers they only seem to be able to use with the transformations, but setting up several different transformations just to get that in, Well, there are easier ways to do it. Not to mention, of course, the problems when you get stuff like in the third season, they get the ultimate final form of the fairy transformation. And then they have to get new ones constantly. Now they get 2 new transformations per season.
Yes.
And there are further problems introduced. Because, because first of all, and there's also a thing that was mentioned that, it was weird that they didn't have wings despite being fairies. Clearly, in the show itself, a fairy is an occupation. Because you can go from being a witch to being a fairy, and also the other way around.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about the classical fae folk, we do have at least one present, Professor Whiskers.
Indeed.
He's a leprechaun, and he has no wings.
Though the classical fairy is looking like Tinkerbell, fairies from mythology can be wildly different. Weird, wonderful, terrifying. But not necessarily winged.
No.
And again, we go with the universe of Winx when a fairy is clearly an occupation. A variant of magician focusing on positive emotions, going from by the creator's own, what they themselves have said.
Yeah, we see that when they're in Cloud Tower during season 2.
Yeah, also there. So yeah, which is also why. And then there's the problem with the transformations, but nobody else seems to do it. I mean, this first season, at least some of the other fairies transformed.
Yeah, but they didn't transform, they were just transformed.
Yeah, rather quickly.
Yeah, we just saw that they had transformation forms, but we never saw anyone beyond the main cast actually do a transformation sequence.
At least that could be explainable by us following them.
Yeah.
But that's kind of season 1, and after that it kind of goes away. The girls are the only one who seem to earn their Charmix and Enchantrix, at least we ever know about.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else in the magical world ever needs to transform. The witches certainly don't. And,
I mean, I suppose you could talk about Palladium, or at least fake Palladium, having his own paladin transformation.
Yes.
But
that's one case.
Yes.
And, well, considering how little Avalon shows up again.
Yeah.
And nobody else does. I mean, sure, the tricks occasionally change costume and such, but more often than not, then they change permanently. Well, except the Dark Enchantrix thing from season 3 that was complete bust. What the hell was up with that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like, the teachers need to transform to access their powers or anything.
Though, that would require us to see Farragonda in a miniskirt and with midriff. Yeah.
So it just raises a lot of questions. And when you come down to it, it was easier to remove this and then come up with something alternative to fill in where it was necessary than explain all of these weird inconsistencies.
Mm.
I mean, I get the genre, and I get why it's sometimes necessary to have these transformation sequences. It's part of the fun sometimes, and there can be a reason. But with Winx Club, when you come down to it and look at the equation, it seems more like they have a transformation because they wanted to have this pseudo-magical thing, rather than because they have thought it through.
Yeah.
And how it fits into the universe. And that ends up with this being a vestigial gimmick.
Another thing is that it's a written medium, people. If we had to describe the transformation sequence every single time, it would just end up being filler.
Yeah. Even if we had to explain the first time, it would be kind of superfluous in a written medium. So we went with the path we thought made the most sense.
Yes.
I suppose that was it, really.
Well, there was a quick mention of Kiko again not being Bloom's familiar.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is I'm not sure he is her familiar in the show. Thank you. Couldn't speak there for a second.
He kind of fills the role in the first season, but then it's forgotten when Loquette comes into the picture.
Yeah, and then she's kind of forgotten again and remembered again, kind of on off depending on the season.
Yeah.
Kiko's just kind of there for comic relief that personally, you may feel differently, but personally I feel falls flat more often than not.
Yeah. Also, we could simply not explain how she got a magical rabbit on Earth.
I mean, how did nobody notice it was a magical rabbit?
It's not exactly subtle.
Yeah. No, Subtle and Kiko are not even on the same continent. No, somebody would have noticed.
Yes, and if she purchased him in Magicalis, then he would lose his place as a link to Earth, which he also have a little bit.
Which was why we didn't just have her. To explain why she just said that, the suggestion that she just bought him in the other world was brought up to keep him magical, but that would be why that wouldn't be the case.
Yes. So I'm not always good at explaining myself.
I noticed. So yeah. Also, we changed him to a guinea pig because, well, there's something to do with the activity cycle of rabbits and such.
Yeah, rabbits are solely nocturnal, whereas guinea pigs are a little bit more active during all times.
So it was a pet. It was a pet that fit more with the able to play in the day thing.
Mm.
So yeah.
Generally a bit more active, actually, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, my family had a rabbit once. Laziest piece of meat ever.
I had one over at my grandma's place. Apparently, it ran away.
Anyway, so I suppose that was all the questions, or near questions, or pseudo questions, or could be a question if you squinted at it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, in that case, it's been Eric Cobra.
And keep an ear.
And we'll see you soon with the rewrite of the first Winx movie. So, yeah, you all have a good day.
See ya.